Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how often you should probably weigh your ball pythons and how often I weigh my ball pythons. So let's get right into it. How often you should weigh ball pythons really depends on your personal experience, and also sometimes it does matter the amount of animals you have, and sometimes it does play into what your plans really are with that animal. I have 24 snakes currently. Some are breeders, some aren't breeders. Well, some are to size to breed, some aren't to size to breed, and some are 118 grams right now. So I kind of have a little bit of everything. I choose to weigh all of my ball pythons once a month, the first of the month. Now, the reason I do that is for a couple of reasons. It does give me some historical data for me to look back on. Like if I got a female who started the season at, I don't know, let's say 1,600 grams, she's been pairing, she's been eating good, you know, she's been doing that, now she's up to 2,100 grams. Well, hopefully I'm getting eggs soon, maybe not, you know, I mean, there's always something, to me, it just gives me another thing to look at. Now, I will say, if you only have like 3 or 4 ball pythons, I would say why not just weigh them monthly anyway, but then again, if you only got 3 or 4, you know if they're eating weekly or not, and you kind of can see their body composition, and, you know, you can kind of make some guesses there. I think that you should probably try to weigh monthly, especially your males who are breeding, and a lot of your kind of growers, just to see how they're comparing to maybe some of the other ones that are the same age as them or anything like that. It is important as well because whenever you're doing this, like I said with the males, it's very advantageous to kind of know what they weighed going into the season and what they're weighing leaving the season and even during the season. Some weight loss is expected, but you don't want to see them lose hundreds of grams. You know, that you don't want to see a snake that was 800 grams fall back down to 500 grams in one breeding season. There's probably a big issue there. Now, part of it too, why I do think that weight is important is because some ball pythons, body composition, they hold it differently. Some snakes who are 500 grams look big and bulky and they look like they could be 1,000 grams, so you're probably overfeeding that snake maybe, you know, it's not growing fast enough, or you know, keeping up with the shed cycles, and it's really not, I don't know how to word this, it's not shedding, no. It's storing more fat than it is utilizing it for lean muscle and things like that, because you want your snake to be leaner, and not exactly a little sausage, right? So that can kind of give you an idea of like, okay, this snake holds on to more fat than this snake does, because their metabolisms will be different. You know, not one snake's the same snake as the next snake, right? They're all a little different. So having some of that historical data is very nice on males, because during the season, sometimes you got to know when to stop them. You got to know, okay, he quit eating. Sometimes they quit eating and they don't lose any weight. We have a male here who bred this season, and he lost like 50 grams over the season, but he didn't eat once during the season. So, you know, what do you do there, right? He's not losing any weight, but he's certainly not eating anything. But if I was just going based off of him eating or not eating, I would have quit breeding him instantly, right? But if he's not losing any weight, then he's not burning as many calories, and he's kind of maintaining at that position. So I'm okay with that, right? They do go on hunger strikes and things like that, so it's good to see, are they losing weight on a hunger strike, or are they just maintaining or close to maintaining weight on a hunger strike? Because they can do that. So it's just important to have, it's one more thing to kind of keep in your back pocket. Now, another reason that I really like to weigh is because, number one, I know what my females weighed coming into the season. So I know what they weighed in September, October-ish. You know, I know that this is, okay, this makes sense. This is where they were at, you know, okay, she starts the season at 1,700 grams. Awesome. I know that next year, by that same time, I need to make sure that she is at least 1,700 grams. Preferably, she's put on some after she laid, but it's very, very important to kind of know what they weigh at different month stages. I mean, me weighing throughout the breeding season, it may not matter. It may just be important to kind of have a one weight in October, but I like to have some of the variances that could happen. I like to have multiple numbers to kind of be able to pull from and be able to look at when deciding next season, okay, so she's only weighing 1,500 grams right now. Should I breed her or not? Well, last October she was 1,600 grams, but then in November she shed and took a big poop, and now she's down to 1,550. So would I still breed her? Would I not still breed her? It at least gives me something to justify the weight loss, potentially. And then I can go look at her feeding chart and say, oh good, she ate, awesome, she kept eating consistently, never went off food, she just wasn't packing it on. So there is something there to kind of have. It's just a really nice tool to have in your toolbox when you're making decisions on live animals. Because at the end of the day, we really do want to do what's best for these animals. We're not going to just overbreed an animal, male or female, just to produce more eggs. Because really, that's not kind of the goal here. The goal here is to be a part of a hobby that's really fun and really cool, and something that you really get a lot of enjoyment out of. So, to me, I think that weighing your snakes is very important. Now, I also do understand for the people who have 1,000 snakes, literally hundreds upon hundreds of snakes, literally. I can see how weighing your adults would probably get away from you, and I think at that point, hopefully you have enough experience to kind of be able to look at the body compositions, look at things like that, and kind of analyze right then and there. But then again, too, I do think that you are losing something by not weighing your snakes, because you're not getting all the information that you could have. And I do it once a month because hopefully they feed 4 times in a month, and I see how they held on to it. And obviously, guys, it does vary a lot, because once a month is actually kind of a lot in the snake world for weighing. I mean, they don't shed cycle that often, you know, they don't really poop that often, they don't have a lot of these things like really that often, so their weight is much more fluctuatable over a time period. But that's why, like I said, it's nice to have 4 or 5 months to reference, rather than, okay, here's what she weighed last year, let's throw her in again because she's at the same weight. You know, you never know. I also do like to see what I'm going to be tracking, what the eggs that are laid weigh and how much weight she lost, and then that way I kind of know the difference, and I also know what to expect from her, because there are some females who can be 1,600 grams and lay eggs and they just look terrible afterward. But then there's other females who are 1,600 grams, they lay eggs and they look just like they look just fine. So it's nice to be able to learn the individual snake, which I think is super important. I think that's why it's super important to have historical data on all your snakes, because the individual snake is really what drives a lot of how we take care of our animals. So that wraps up this video. I do hope that, you know, that this kind of all makes sense, and that you do think that weighing your ball pythons is in your advantage. Like I said, just once a month, not a lot. It takes 15-20 minutes, and I got 20 snakes. It doesn't take me very long at all. So until next time, guys, stay safe and stay positive.